जय श्री श्री गौरीताय भगवान की
जय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad-Bhagavatam class. So today we are reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 9, verse number 8. Shutrit tridhatu bhirima muhuraradhyamana. Shutri tridhatu bhirima muhuraradhyamana.
Shutri tridhatu bhirima muhuraradhyamana.
Shitoshnavata varase itaratre checha.
Shitoshnavata varase itare taracha.
Shitoshnavata varase itaret ratacha.
Shitoshnavata varase itare taracha.
Kamagni achyutarusa cha sudurvarena.
Kamagni achyutarusha cha sudurvarena.
Kamagni achyutarusa cha sudurvarena.
Kamagni achyutarusha cha sudurvarena.
Sampashyato mana uru karma siddhatame.
Sampashyato manavuru krama siddhate me.
Sampashyato mana uru karma siddhatame.
Sampashyato manavuru krama siddhate me.
Word by word translation. Shrut,
Shut,
hunger.
hunger.
Trit,
Trit,
thirst.
thirst.
Tridhatubhi,
Tridhatubihi,
three humors,
three humors,
namely
namely
mucus,
mucus,
bile,
bile,
and wind.
and wind.
Ima,
Imaha,
all of them.
all of them.
Muhu,
Muhuhu,
always.
always.
Aradhyamanaha,
Artyamanaha,
perplexed.
perplexed.
Sita,
Sita,
winter.
winter.
Ushna,
Ushna,
summer.
summer.
Vata,
Vata,
wind.
wind.
Varasai,
Varasaihi,
by rains.
by rains.
Itara, itarat,
Itara, itara,
and many other disturbances.
and many other disturbances.
Cha,
Cha,
also. Kama agnina,
Kama Agnina,
by strong sex urges.
by strong sex urges.
Achyuta rusa,
Achyuta Rusa,
indefatigable anger.
indefatigable anger.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Sudurvarena,
Sudurvarena,
most unbearable.
most unbearable.
Sampashyataha,
Sampashyataha,
so observing.
so observing.
Manaha,
Manaha,
mind.
mind.
Urukrama,
Urukrama,
O great actor.
O great actor.
Siddhate,
Siddhate,
becomes despondent.
becomes despondent.
May,
May,
my.
my.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Translation. O great actor, my Lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them, and I am very much aggrieved for them. Purport. A pure devotee of the Lord, like Brahma, and person in his disciplic succession, are always unhappy to see the perplexities of the conditioned souls, who are suffering and the onslaughts of the threefold miseries which pertain to the body and mind, to the disturbances of material nature, and to many other such material disadvantages. Not knowing adequate measures for relieving such difficulties, suffering persons sometimes pose themselves as leaders of the people, and the unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantages under such so-called leadership. This is like a blind man's leading another blind man to fall into a ditch. Therefore, unless the devotees of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. The devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manohishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Swadvaitam Savadutam Pariganashaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Gauranitai ki
Jai.
Tava Katharitam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Viriritam Kalmasapaham Shravana Mangalam Srimad-Bhagavatam Bhuviginnati Vibhuri Bhajana Bhuviginnati Vibhuri Bhajana. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, before I start, I seek blessings from all the assembled devotees, both here physically and online, and also seek forgiveness if I speak something inappropriate. Thank you. So, in this chapter, very important, here Brahma's prayers for creative energy. So, if we just go back, like Lord Brahma, after he had all the penances, done the penances, now he is in front of the Lord, and these prayers, Brahma's prayers, which is leading actually up to the Chaturshloki Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is the summary of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So, in this first section, if we see, we are in text number 8. So, from text number 1 to 11, there are 3 sections. In the first 5 verses, Lord Brahma is explaining the form of the Lord. So as he's seeing the Lord, he's explaining the form. The next verse, 5 verses from 6 to 10, he is explaining the miseries of the materialistic people and how unfortunate they are because they can't see the form of the Lord. And it is their position is very lamentable. Like, it's there, like, Lord Brahma is very, very sad about their position. And in verse number 11, it is described that how we can invite the Lord into our hearts. So it's a very nice flow. Like, first the form, which actually motivates us. Then the next section is like, how in this material world, actually all the materialist people, they can't see it and what they're missing out. And then if we make them like understand that form and see that form, then how they can invite the Lord in their heart. Although the Lord is already there, but it's just that how they can again rekindle that relationship. So it's a very nice flow of these 11 verses. So now today's verse as is 8, so we are concentrating on this section, that are the miseries of the materialistic people. So we see, like, from verse number 6, it started that people, they're like, most of the people, they are very much under anxiety. And where this anxiety comes from? The anxiety comes from the fact that everyone is always thinking that, okay, I need to know everything. Like, if I have to be on top of things, like, someone is, they are taking care of their family, they are taking care of their society, they are taking care of their country. Everyone is like, no, I am the Lord of this. So I have to manage it, and I need to know everything. So sometimes fear of losing out on something creates much, like, lots of anxiety. Like in this day and age, we have the small acronyms like LOL, laugh out loud, or something when we use it in the messages, right? So there is a small acronym like FOMO. They call FOMO. FOMO means fear of missing out, right? So people are thinking, oh, like, I need to know this. And you can see it like in our work culture, in the corporate culture. Like, a person, a manager, no, I need to go to this meeting, I have to understand, I have to know this, I need to know this. Because their fear is, if I miss out something, then someone can take advantage. So what happened? That why this anxieties comes? Because obviously, I need to control everything, right? I need to control everything, so that for that control, I need to know everything. And what happened? Why I want to control everything? Because I want to enjoy the sense gratification, right? But unfortunately, when this sense gratification doesn't come, or if it comes very short-lived, like, very small, then what happens? Depression comes. That I think that, oh, I have worked so hard for this. And then when the time for enjoyment comes, it just came, like, and gone. So now again I have to go and do all this hard work. So from there, the depression comes. And in the modern medical science, it's saying that the largest number of people are affected with any disease, like, it's not cancer, it's not COVID, it's not anything rather than depression. Antidepressant pills are the highest selling pills in the market. But most of the psychologists said that actually those pills doesn't work. But anyway, the point being here that depression is very, very strong. Because when someone goes into depression, and then we are not talking about depression for someone who are like, who haven't done much in life. We are talking about highly successful people in materialistic way. They are going into depression. Because they have been successful, but then they're thinking, oh my God, if I'm not become successful, how I'm going to, maintain this lifestyle, having all this fame, having all this money. So even there is no need for anxiety, they are still going through that. So if we want to understand why this is happening, because the crux of it is the sense enjoyment. Because I want to enjoy it, but by hook or by crook. So that's where we see, in our scriptures, in Srimad-Bhagavatam, it says, for the devotees, and they are not very much concerned of, me being the controller or enjoying the senses. Right? We know this famous verse, right? The devotees, they are depending on what? Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. So Rishikesh, Krishna, he's the owner, he's the controller of all senses, the master of all senses. So if we simply surrender our senses to serve him, then our senses at the same time will all be satisfied. We don't have to do any extra endeavor. All the problems are coming from the extra endeavor. The extra endeavors that we are going through. That I have to do this, I have to do that. So Rishikesha, Rishikena, Rishikesha. Bhakti Sarvam Uchyate. That's really, really important. And then if you see into more deeper, then how that is, how that is happening. How you were saying, Prabhu, that if I just surrender my senses, or if I just somehow dovetail my senses in serving the Lord, how it can be satisfied. So that is also given, the answer is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila. It's Adi Lila 4, chapter 4, verse number 165. It's a Bengali verse. I'm sure all of you have heard it. It's a very popular verse. It's called Atmendriya Priti Bancha Tare Boli Kam. Right? Atmendriya Priti Bancha Tare Boli Kam Krishnendriya Priti Ichha Dhore Premona. So Atmendriya Priti Bancha. So one who is always engaged in enjoying himself or herself. Tare Boli Kam. So that is lust. That is not love. And Krishnendriya Priti Ichha. Krishnendriya, so the one who actually dedicate their senses in serving the Lord. Krishnendriya Priti Ichha. Ichha is desire. Like one who desire to serve the Lord. Dhore Premanam. So that is the Premanam, the love. That is love. That is not lust. So from there, actually it comes that, and then what is the opposite of anxiety? If we see, okay, everyone is so much anxious, something. What those antidepressant pill, what they are supposed to give you? When you have them? Peace, right. Peace. They are supposed to give you peace. What is the formula of peace? Prabhupada has given us that also. Yes. And then that before that verse, there is another verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that is from Madhya Lila 19:149. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Otoiva Shanto. Right? Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Otoiva Shanto. They are very, very peaceful. And then Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. Shokole Ashanto. It's everyone they don't have any peace. So Bhukti is one who is always for sense enjoyment. Mukti is looking for the they are for the liberation. Siddhi, the yogis, and Kami, who are always desiring. Their desire, all these desires. Shokole Ashanto. So what is the formula to being from that Ashanto to Shanto? Krishna Bhakta. And then also that Bhaktaram Yagna Tapassa. That wonderful verse. Now the question is, we know, we have gone through this and we know that. Then why again and again in Srimad-Bhagavatam? So Srimad-Bhagavatam is the Amala Puran, right? So it's a spotless Puran, and it is the, it's a churning from all the Vedas. The Vedas are they're huge. It's not possible, in a lifetime for someone to go through all the Vedas. And after Vyasadeva, he written all the Vedas, he was not also satisfied. So his spiritual master, Narada Muni, came and said that you're not satisfied because you haven't written about the glories of the Lord. So then he compiled Srimad-Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is the spotless Quran. Bhagavatam gives us the life stories of the Lord and his devotees. But then time and again, why we see that Bhagavatam is skipped talking about these material miseries. Right? We say like, we already know about it. We are living it. Like, we are living that. But why? Like, here in this specific verse, it's saying that, the material miseries, it's too cold, too hot, raining outside, like, COVID, all these things are happening. Like, why time to time? Srimad-Bhagavatam is reminding us about these materialistic conditions. This is because that we need to, like, always be on the edge to understand that in this material world, this is ashvashatam and dukkhalaya. Because at some point of time, whenever we start feeling, oh, this is very nice actually. The weather is nice, house is nice. Whenever we start getting into that comfort zone, very careful. Someone called Maya is on the door. It's because, we have, as they say in English, right, spirit willing, but the flesh is, softens. So we have the spirit, yes, Prabhu, we have read it, and we need to do it. But what happened? At the threefold of miseries, they are there. Every time, they're relentless. They are trying to get into, our life. And trying to, somehow or other, pull us back. So that's why the Srimad-Bhagavatam, when Krishna left this world, this material world, Srimad-Bhagavatam, after that Srimad-Bhagavatam came, there is no difference between Srimad-Bhagavatam and Krishna. And then we say that, Srimad-Bhagavatam is spoken by the saintly personalities. Like saintly personalities, what we call them sadhu, right? So what is the main role of a sadhu? Whenever we say sadhu, the main role of the sadhu is to cut the knot of material bondage. So that's why it's very interesting, in Canto 11, when Krishna's conversation with Uddhava starting, the first thing Krishna is saying that, what the first thing I do with my devotees? I take away all his material possessions. Now, if you say someone knew this, they will say, oh, what do you mean? I'll lose everything? But that's why there are 10 cantos before 11th canto to prepare us, to make us understand that how this material condition, materialist, all the possession, they have absolutely no values. All these 10 cantos we have to go through to understand, to be in that platform. And then when Krishna said that, it makes sense. It says that the first thing I do with my devotees, I take away all their materialistic possessions. And then, the journey begins. So, we see that, in Srimad-Bhagavatam, how it explains that the reality of the spiritual life and how the material life is full of illusion. But in the world, in our society, it's the other way around, right? It teaches us how the materialistic life is real and the spiritual life is something it might be there, it's not there, we don't know. So they teach us in a different way, in the complete opposite way. But Srimad-Bhagavatam, it says that the spiritual world, where whenever you're walking, that is a dance, whenever you're talking, that's a kirtan, every day is festival. That's there is always ecstasy there. But in material world, as I said, ashvashatam dukkhalam, every step is some full of miseries. And the point when we feel that, okay, there is some happiness here, but that happiness is actually not actual happiness. When, suppose, if you're having some pain in your body, right? Like if you're having a headache, for example, everybody has a headache. And if the headache goes on for 5 minutes, there is a joy comes. But is it a happiness? It's just cessation of that pain. And after 5 minutes, it comes back again with the force. And you say, oh my God, what happened? Krishna. So that's what, the situation is in the materialistic, in this world. So Srimad-Bhagavatam, keep, it's keep telling us that you have to, you have to understand how this material world has been created. It is created for one purpose, to provide pain. And then how we can get, we can sustain it. There is no way of, we can avoid it. How we can sustain it? By reading Srimad-Bhagavatam. By taking shelter of Srimad-Bhagavatam. This is the one pill. Every time when we have some kind of disease, we ask that, go to the doctor, and the doctor writes a full prescription of medicine and gives it to us. Okay, take this in the morning, take this in the afternoon, take this in the evening, and everything. Sometimes we think, can't I have just only one pill? Just give me one pill and that should, take out everything. But there is nothing like that. There is no one pill in there. You have to, go through all those things. But Srimad-Bhagavatam is that one pill. But you have to take it regularly. It's not I take, Prabhu, I go to Saturday, Sunday, that's done. I don't have to do any, other days. No, and that's what Srila Prabhupada, he said, he could have started, he gave us 16 rounds, right? To do it every day. He could have reduced it to, the morning program is only for weekends. No, it's every day. Every day you have to do chanting and then listen to Srimad-Bhagavatam. Because without that, we have to, when we go through Srimad-Bhagavatam like that, what happened that for us, what it teaches us to look at this material world through our ears, not with our eyes. When we see the outside, when we started to see it through our ears, then it actually will make sense. Then we can sustain our life. If we just see with our eyes, things will not make sense. It's like everything you will see, it will not make sense. And what's the ultimate outcome of that? Yes, again, anxiety, depression, everything. So I have to go through the years. So that's why the Srimad-Bhagavatam is actually Srimad-Bhagavatam, and then also for us, both Srimad-Bhagavatam and the living Bhagavatas. So Srimad-Bhagavatam came as a book, and we also have the devotees. Our senior devotees, the sannyasis, whom we look at them, we look up to them. The living Bhagavatas. We need double dose. Just only the book is not enough for us. We also have to see the devotees, we also have to, see that how they are dealing. We take inspiration. I'm not saying that we, copy them, but we take inspiration from them. That, okay, one time, His Holiness Prahlada Maharaj was saying, I read Bhagavad Gita every day. Every day I read Bhagavad Gita, and every day I find out something which is really refreshing, and it actually amazes me. Wow! Maharaj saying that he reads Bhagavad Gita every day, and that's an inspiration for us, the motivation for us that yes, we should read. And one time my Guru Maharaj was saying that everywhere, if I go to somewhere and say that okay Maharaj, this problem, that problem, because when the sannyasis goes, the yatras, the members, they come and say, oh Maharaj, this problem, that problem, this. And Guru Maharaj said, I always conclude it in one word. It's like that people are not reading Srila Prabhupada books. If you read Srila Prabhupada books, then there is always a solution. Because if you're not reading it, then you are making your own mental concoction. And that's how the problems comes. So that's why both Srimad-Bhagavatam and the living Bhagavatas, we have to honor both of them. We have to follow both of them. And then we see, if we see from our acharyas, Srila Sanatana Goswami, one of our prime acharyas, right? Srila Sanatana Goswami, when he was a little child, one day he saw a dream that someone came and gave him a Srimad-Bhagavatam as a gift. And then he kept that Srimad-Bhagavatam throughout his life. Like he's seeing in the dream that, he is reading the Srimad-Bhagavatam and he's getting so much knowledge out of it. So he woke up and suddenly there is a knock on the door. And he saw that there is one Brahmana. And he just gave him this Srimad-Bhagavatam as a gift. And then he had that Srimad-Bhagavatam. We know that Srila Sanatana Goswami, he wrote the extension of Srimad-Bhagavatam, Brihad-Bhagavatam, where we have this wonderful, all the commentaries. So all these living Bhagavatas, they also have shown us that, we have to follow Srimad-Bhagavatam. We have to listen to Srimad-Bhagavatam. Because without that, no matter whatever we try, whatever endeavor we put, it's like there is always some benefits, but it ultimately will not take us to anywhere. We will be somewhere in middle. Prabhu, I'm coming for 20 years, 25 years, chanting Prabhu, doing this service and things like that. Prabhu, why this is not happening? Why it's not happening? It's a very, very, it's a very personal thing. How our own endeavor is there. How, we are surrendered to the Lord. Because without that, it's very, very, hard. It's very hard. Because then we see that, okay, after we read Srimad-Bhagavatam, after we get this knowledge, still the attachment is there. Still there are somewhere or other we are attached with some materialistic things. Why is that? We have got all this knowledge now, we understood it, thank you. But why we are still attached? But there are two things, while I was listening to the lecture, Maharaj was saying there are two things. One is we procrastinate. Now what is procrastinate? Means whatever we can do now, we think that we will take it up tomorrow. Prahlad Maharaj was saying, to his friends, 5-year-old boys, everyone, take up the Harinam today. They said, no, let's just play, we will do it tomorrow. Prahlad Maharaj said, no, what if there is no tomorrow? So there is this procrastinate, we tend to procrastinate. And that's how things push out. That's one thing. And then the other thing also, we read in the morning, one of the offenses against the holy name, that maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions. We had a devotee in Sydney, it was quite funny. When the so comes, he used to do so many, and he used to just put that emphasis on that so many instructions, even after understanding so many instructions. So those are the things, it actually keeps us, pull us back. So what's the solution? The solution is that one of the things is not to confront with Maya. If all the allurements are there, if I think that, I will do just this thing, I think I can control myself. I'll just do one of this, and then, whatever those attachments are, I'll just do a little bit of it, and I'm pretty much happy that, and I'm pretty much confident that I can control my senses. So do not take that path. Devi echi gunamayi mama maya durattaya. Durattaya, that word, Shakuni, somehow or other, will find a way. It will show you that, just do a little things, you'll find joy. And then again go back, do your service, it will come back. No, it doesn't. Somehow or other from there, it just goes to find a path. So that's why, never ever play with that. Respectfully, offer your obeisances and go to the other way. Because once we start fiddling with that, it's like a spider web. What is the spider web is? That how spider makes a web is when you fall into the web, the more you struggle to come out, the more you get entangled with that. So that's why, don't fiddle with that. And if we just don't do it, and if we just remain, what Srila Prabhupada has given us, then it has been given, like in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, that if we just remain on the path, then victory is inevitable. Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Madhya-lila, 23 chapter, 14-15. It says, Adho Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tha Bhajana Kriya Tatho Anartha Nivritti Syat Tato Nishtha Ruchis Tataha. Means that first there is faith, right? From everyone starts their journey with faith. Then there is Sadhu Sangha, association with devotees. And then take shelter from a guru, take initiation, and then execution of the duty under the instruction of the guru. When then happen, one is freed from all unwanted habits and become fixed in devotion. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. So this is the way. If someone remains in that path, then ultimately, everyone, they will get freed from the unwanted habits. Habit is something, it's very, very, once it gets into us, it's very hard to get out of it. First, it will just show okay, 1 day, 2 days, I'm doing this, But then again, the Maya will come as a habit, and then it becomes habit. And then you will see, if I don't do it, I'll just feel really, anxiety. That anxiety is coming, I'll not be able to do it. But that's the thing, we have to come out of it. And the holy name is there. That's the panacea. The panacea, what does mean? The panacea is like the ultimate medicine. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us, God, just fast. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave us that panacea. What is that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So taking that, take shelter of Harinam Prabhu. And that's it. So even after, then coming back to the verse of today, going through all these miseries, devotees will they will unaffected. Just remain unaffected, do your service, move ahead, and then ultimately go back to God. So we see in the next verse also, next couple of verses, it will actually describe to us more material miseries and how. And the one thing that I just wanted to, this is the last point, I know that 8:30, but just the last point. From all of this, what we can come up with is that we have to, we now see that how the materialistic people, they are going through this misery. But what we have to come up with is to understand that we have to develop compassion. So Brahmā is talking about that he is feeling very sad. So when we have this understanding, when we have this knowledge, we have to develop this compassion. Sometimes, happen with all of us, happen with me, that if I give this knowledge and when I see the outside people, I tend to some kind of tell them, these people they're nonsense, they're doing all these activities, let them suffer. No. We have to develop that compassion for them. And from there, that compassion will lead us to actually go and distribute this knowledge with them. Otherwise, you think that Srila Prabhupada, did he have any reason at the age of after 75, he's sitting in in the temple in Vrindavan, one of the best possible way that you can live your vanaprastha. He took all these things out of what? Compassion. You don't know, I have to distribute it. So one point, from this verse, when we are going through this and understand the material miseries, that we have to develop this quality of compassion so that we can go to everyone and we can just share it with them and say that, look, if you take this, it will help you to get out of your misery. So that's the only way. That's only one pill, one medicine. So thank you all. I know that I'm a little bit over time. Sorry about that. But thank you very much please again, please forgive me if there is anything it's not appropriate that I've said. But thank you all very much for joining today. Tantra Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Thai Gaur Premanande. Is there any comment or anything? Or
Yeah.
we finish it.
No, we usually give some time for people to ask questions or comments.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is there yes, bro.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was loud, Prabhu.
Yeah. I don't know if they are allowed.
People can hear them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It was a nice class. You spoke really nailed down on the very important points. The one pill and two pills. Because sometimes it happens as this morning I was telling him, I finished chanting 16 rounds and I told him I'm going to hang the beads. And one of the lectures said, one devotee was saying, we are so eager to hang the beads, that is not the consciousness. It's not the once done, okay, finish. So I just somehow spontaneously I told him, then I was laughing myself that if we have that kind of chanting, that kind of mood, then it's difficult. So yes, as you mentioned, Bhagavatam, study of Bhagavatam and association of devotees is definitely increases our mood in a proper direction. Thank you very much. One point, one comment, as you were mentioning, Srimad-Bhagavatam. So there is in Juhu, when Giriraj Maharaj was building temple, and as you know, that's one of the difficult projects which he has undertaken. And not only the temple projects, even the temple devotees also have some lot of issues. And being a temple president, he used to have so many devotees coming and complaining. So then he heard from Prabhupada some time back, and then he implemented a project in temple that every Sunday there is big Kirtan. And that when the Sunday comes, he calls all the devotees, attend the Kirtan, and everyone gets so inspired. So automatically for next 3-4 days there are no problems.
Yes.
No one has any issues.
Yes.
And then Thursday, Friday people start coming to him. And then slowly he used to sneak out. He says, let's come on Sunday, we'll discuss.
Yes.
And Sunday comes and people don't have. So the point he was mentioning, see, we have problems, but there is a solution also. Solution is Harinam. There is nothing we cannot replace Harinam with anything else. We can have a big project, we can have big meetings. Yes, that's there. The most important thing, which is the foundation, is Harinam. If you have solid Harinam with association of devotees, if we can do it, all of us together, then the so-called problems will slowly get started. That's one of my things. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Prabhu. That day also in the Gaur Purnima day, in the lecture, Harinamanda Prabhu also mentioned, like about two devotees, brahmacharis, they had their problems. And Maharaja said that now you dance with each other. So like they danced for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And after 1 hour, they were okay with each other. Yeah, And with Srimad-Bhagavatam, having it daily. And as it says, we also have that famous verse, Nashta Prayashu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seva. So there was no point, there was reason to put that Nityam Bhagavata Seva, right? But there is that word, Nityam, continuously. Because with only that, it actually comes. That benefit comes for us. And the other point that when you were saying about that hanging that bead, I was listening one time to His Holiness Kadam Khan Maharaj. And Maharaj was saying, and he was talking about chanting. And then he was saying that a characteristic of material chanting, how the material is, not material chanting, mechanical chanting. First 4 rounds is that. And then going towards that 8, is just going to uphill. And when you go to 8, then say, oh wow, now the next 8, then just go for Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. And then when you are in 15 round, you are the king, the 16 round is there. Okay, yes, now I'm done. Yeah, but again, when it becomes mechanical, when it's just become mechanical, I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Any other?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Vanwali Krishna Das speaking.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
All the way Vaishnavas. I'm just saying that this verse, which you had to tell us all about, has made us conscious of all the sufferings of human beings. All the sufferings we have to go through. But we have been chanting and installing Krishna into our hearts. And therefore we have to be conscious of Krishna. not conscious of these material sufferings. So really speaking, what we have to do is to turn down to Krishna in the heart and present in every atom of our body, as is told to us in Brahmā Samhita. Chayantarasta, he is situated in every atom of our bodies. So we have to become conscious of that and remain conscious of it and ask him to guide us so that we don't stumble onto these old fall downs. Thank you very, very much. I hope we will remember all that. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Pranam to all of you.
Hare Krishna. So, finish.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Kadamli Radha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Welcome to Brisbane.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
And we really, welcome you and your family. And you are a great Vaishnava, and you are a really, really great addition to our Brisbane Yatra. And very nice to hear from you, Prabhuji. And thank you very much for such a wonderful class and realizations. But we have to understand that the miseries on this material world are there. But if we remember Krishna, chant Krishna, and do our chanting attentively, and of course I like that point you mentioned about compassionate, and that is the great quality of a Vaishnava. Even if somebody is trying to do some service, and if they are not 100% in service, instead of criticizing them, we have to be compassionate on them so that they can also progress. And actually, this is our purification also, not to criticize, but try to be compassionate. And Krishna will definitely, give us mercy, and we just have to be, very, very, I said, determined in our endeavor. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vanavali Krishna Prabhu and Kadamli Radha Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So thank you. We finish it here. Kanchara Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande Hare Go. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.